Okay, I accidentally pressed some buttons there. So at any rate, in that Zen koan, which I said it was from beyond the astral world, because it is. And so, in other words, yeah, the angels in the astral world don't understand this. We've been into the stupid angels, and Christ spoke of them. I went to go into that in the headstand. They believe that God is the divine white living light, but they don't know the God who said, "Let there be light." They do not know. Almost none of them do. So at any rate, this resting, this one level of stillness in meditation, go into stillness, it rests on you. And this is what peace actually looks like. This, with the yellow ball sitting on top of the point. Peace, you can see it, and when you meditate, this is happening, but we can't see it. You can see it in the ethereal body world, not in this one. But it's happening metaphysically. We know that's a property that's at play in meditation. You are the peacemakers in the Beatitudes, even though Christians commonly call you satanic or whatever they do. They're just the children of light. They're children in understanding. Until you hear one of the sons of thunder, where they are, what happened to them in Christianity, which is what Christ was really teaching, and mankind has reduced it to this kindergarten stuff. Yet, I want to make sure that the Christians, the born-again Christians, realize how blessed they are by showing you this. This is the Holy Bible. This is the living lamp that hovers over the Holy Bible. Except this is just, of course, artwork, what have you, but from a Christmas tree or whatever, to show you this is made of light. And it spins this way, and it spins this way in rows, like you see, but much smaller. Much smaller, because they're lifetrons. What Yogananda wrote in Autobiography of a Yogi. Little lifetrons, chi, prana. You can see this in the astral body world. It's not so much the light is not so much a deal in the ethereal body world. Because the ethereal body world is connected with the God who said, "Let there be light." The astral body world is connected with the divine white living light. But God said, "Let there be light," is a higher level of understanding than thinking that God is the light. Things angels desire to look into, because no, they do not understand this. Well, some in the ethereal will understand this, but they will see this light. This will be a living light. You'll see it brilliant, about like a car light shining, radiating, but it's astral light. Well, it's there right now. We don't see it in the little 2% light spectrum that our eyes perceive it. This hovers over the Holy Bible. And later in the resurrection, when you will, this light will, the spinning, you just look at it, the spinning motion will stop, come to a stop, it'll go this way, and then it'll unwind this way, and there's layers, all little lifetrons. One layer spins this way, the other layer spins the other way on top of it. The layer on top of it, it spins one way, the other way. And then when you look at it, it breaks the spinning motion, and it will come to a rest and open up. And then you're a body of light. This light will teach you things that you couldn't imagine in this world. Heavenly things. So it will teach you by showing you things. It will take your body of light through the heavenly worlds, mixed with this world, and show you things. It'll command wisdom to you via the divine white living light. Because our astral body, then you can see the divine white living light, that other outside of this little 2% light spectrum we're in. it will take you beyond that, and that via the divine white living light, because it knows. There's a knowing that's more commanding and more absolute than what we can know via the intellect and talking. So anyway, I've showed you some pretty rare stuff. The Holy Bible as the living light, as it is in heaven. We see the book on earth, but the angels see the light in heaven and interact with it. And we are too, but we're unaware of it. So, but the gift of power that was given by Christ via Mark 16, saved and baptized, Christian angels, the children of light. No, you're not as high as this, the children, the peacemakers, but you are blessed. You're still blessed. I call you blessed idiots. Okay, pardon, but that's the reality of the situation. You have unicorn's horns on your head. You wear the horn of salvation. That is on your astral body, your body of light. Right now, you can't see this, except you be absent from the body, the direct presence in the divine white. Then, in that other 98% of the light spectrum, you see it. You see things at a different light frequency with your body of light. Okay? And when we die, we become angels. One way, we resurrect either in the astral world or the ethereal world. Some Buddhist monks have you go moksha, straight into Om, no shape or form at all. They want to be pure awareness, not vexed by the five senses, just pure awareness, seeing without eyes and hearing without ears, what have you. But at any rate, this teaching, the 3 hours in the headstand a day until you receive enlightenment, I don't like that word for this enlightenment. Let's take this and go beyond enlightenment, because that implies the divine white living light. Let's go into thunder, standing thunder. God's voice thunders. Okay, and like I said before, Om is infinitely greater than Jesus, Moses, Muhammad, Sri Krishna, and Buddha. Infinitely, and that's why it's spelled YHWH by the Jews, and they say the Tao you can speak of is not the eternal Tao, because speech is a part of the human form. This is in formlessness. You can't bring formlessness into the human form by speaking about it. You're bringing it into the human form. It's in formlessness. It can only be experienced. When you see the statue of the Buddhas with the flame or the cloud, there's also some Greek god that has a cloud above his head, a little cloud. Okay, and then there's I don't know if he's Greek, but he's got a beard. Seems like that. A statue of him. I've seen it before. And St. Jude with the flame on the head. Okay, they call it tongues of fire. Well, there's a rushing wind, because you're going into a dimensionless dimension, and then you flying with the Buddha's eagle. When this opens via this ancient teaching, which is we see the pharaohs with the serpents going up and the snake coming out of the forehead. Well, that would be the children of light. Okay, that's the sixth chakra, the pineal gland opening, being in the divine white living light. Higher than that, though, you see some of the pharaohs. They have the snake coming out of the head. Okay, that is that's Om. That also symbolizes Om. When it's coming out of the head, it symbolizes the same thing as what you see on the head of St. Jude. As far as like evil civilizations or whatever. No, we're just going at the teaching and what it does, and how it takes you into the formlessness. So at any rate, you see the Kundalini Yoga being practiced way back by the Egyptians, as symbolized by the snake, and You could call it Kundalini Yoga. I don't know. It is, but it's also it's in scripture too. But like I say, it can't be understood. It can't. It can only be understood, and only by action and practice. Till practice makes perfect. Perfect enlightenment and understanding, which is what? To experience Om. I don't have a working knowledge of Om in this life. I do. When I resurrect, I can work it. But at any rate, I'm going to find my notes. I did not mean to say the Chinese are from the astral world. They're not. They're from the ethereal world. That's the next place above. And the kingdom of Christ is in the astral world. The kingdom of Buddha is in the ethereal world. Okay, so I don't care what the Christians want to say. They are higher than you. Period. If you want to debate, you don't. It's enlightened awareness. It's just a knowing. You don't debate it. The ethereal body is what you arrive at when the astral body drops off via meditation, and that body is Asian. I showed you this is why Asian eyes are Asian, where the horizontal feature comes to answer the same koan. When this rests upon your head, you see, after so long, and that in the ethereal body, the eyes go into peace, deep peace. They parallel this resting on their head, and this is what gives Asian eyes the horizontal feature that they have. This is the lower part of peace, what peace looks like until you enter full stillness, and then the Buddhist eagle comes and perches, and then you continue in meditation, and the whole ethereal body will collapse, just like meditation made the astral body collapse, and then you can experience Om that way, flying with the Buddhist eagle. But that's not with a physical body. That's why the headstand is specifically for human beings with physical bodies, and it's not for the angels. This teaching is not for angels, because meditation is what works for them. You can meditate on earth; it's on earth as in heaven. That's all. And the Pope and the Catholics or anybody who says otherwise from Christians, just can you hear the sound of one hand slapping? Slap right across the face. You're just an idiot. You're a blessed idiot, but you're blessed. Okay, but you don't have under enlightened awareness, and you're just making babbling sounds with the light in your eyes. In this case, it happens to be this light that hovers over the Holy Bible that I spoke of. At any rate, when those lifetrons move, they follow in their trail light. They leave a trail as they move. The little dot, okay, moving, leaves a trail of light behind it as it moves, and it continues in that path till it. But it's awareness. It's an awareness like an angel or a human, but it's not. It's just that light, but it's alive. In that way, the Bible is a living lamp. It's alive, and it's on earth, and the light is on heaven too, and the astral world heaven. Let's get that straight, okay? You are not above the peacemakers. And in fact, you're going downhill fast. The kingdom of Christ has turned into a ghetto real fast. I'm not a Christian resurrection, but I know you're blessed. I know Christ. Isa, as they call him in the East, that is Christ with no shape or form. I'm a disembodied spirit. I'm dead, and yet I'm born. And he that taketh up his cross lose his life, yet he'll find it. Okay, because this is in a sense dying. I just said the body collapsing. You just go higher until you arrive in the soul, which was never born, so it doesn't die. It's a dimensionless dimension, but we as human race have departed from this understanding, and you've seen us devolve quickly. What is devolution? Violence and peace. Okay, the kingdom of heaven, the heavens, plural, because it is heavens, plural. There's different levels. Okay, the more violent, the farther down into the hell realms. The more peace, the higher you go into the heavenly realms until you reach the state of stillness before God, the Spirit of God, moved. Stillness. He's in stillness. Not that the Spirit of God moved. On the face of the waters, God said, let there be light. That stillness before the Spirit of God moves can be meditated into via angelic meditation. You could still meditate in your celestial body just as you learn to meditate now. So you too have an eternal treasure. And it does translate. It's not the miracle of salvation, like instantaneous miracle, as in Christ, but it is a higher level nonetheless. The salvation that Buddha taught, and he said, you work at it, and this one you do by works. The gift from Christ is not by works. It was a gift of power. I'm telling you, when you're baptized, Moses, you're the serpent, and they're fighting, and a serpent, and rod turns into a serpent, and that was the violent side or weaponized version of this type of miraculous phenomenon. Christ is the healing side and the love side of this type of phenomena, where instead of dropping the serpent or whatever, what have you, when you're baptized and then boom, you're hit with the gift of power. That is to say, a unicorn's horn is on your head of your astral body, your body of light. Where can you see it? See it? There's a show in Thailand, which I spent all my bank account to go over there because I saw these heavenly realities that I'm telling you about in their artwork on the computer. Anyway, they have a show called Siam Niramat, where at the end the angels come down on cables, dressed up as angels, the performers. They have unicorns' horns on their head. That's exactly what Christian angels look like. That's how they're marked. They have unicorns' horns on their head, the horn of salvation. In fact, I'm going to open this up to a certain verse, and I will show you. You say that that's crazy about unicorns. I'll show you in the Holy Bible where it appears, King James Version. Can you read that? Let's see. I'll do this on reverse the camera. No, I can't. Anyway, I think you could see that. Psalm 20:21. I think you could see that. At any rate, so you see that you'll call me crazy, yet the Holy Bible says I'm saying, and you're crazy. So, at any rate, I did take some notes to write down. I showed you what peace looks like, what it looks like. You can't see it, and you are the peacemakers, meditators. When Christians or anybody else says anything negative about it, about meditation, can you hear the sound of one hand slapping? That's the reality of the situation, because meditators are higher than the Christians. Are trash now. They look like trash. I do not want a Christian resurrection. I passed through God, I'm out of there because it's a trashy ghetto. Nowadays, in a way that I guess that's its beauty. You know, Christ was working just however you are, however screwed up you are. Okay, you're in. He gets your foot in the door, being born again. But it's not. It's not a place I want to be. Personally, you know, from the kingdom of Buddha, and that's where it came from, and that's where I'm going back to. But at any rate, this teaching, pick up your cross daily and follow me. That cross is a headstand prop, I guarantee you, as was the Ankh from Egypt, A-N-K-H, capitals, that of Moses. And Moses took it, tried to teach the Jews at the base of the mountain. I'm positive this was his teaching because I've done it. Okay. And the Jews didn't want to learn. They wanted to dance around a golden calf instead. So Moses went up to and he said, you have no shape or form, Moses said. Okay, so thousands of years, it's an eternal truth, what he said. When he said he has no shape or form. Okay. Anything else is not it's God and the divine white light or what have you. That's not even God. That is after God said there's be light. There's duality. If there's duality, if it has shape or form, it's not Om, and Om is God. Just like Swami Vivekananda said, Om is God. That is an eternal truth, and it will never change. It's been Om thousands of years before Christ. It can be Om thousands of years after Christ. Yet Christ is an Om being, not was, is. He's in that city of immortals that I go through in the headstand. Has no shape or form. As a disembodied spirit, dead yet born. That's the difference between Christ, Jesus, and Christ, Isa. Disembodied spirit. I have no shape or form. I'm dead, yet I'm born. Yet, if you say his name, you react from Om. This is the Om was before heaven and earth were. So that's why you get the powerful blessing being baptized in his name. You're going to grow from there, but I'm not of that. I would say that's for angels 1,000 years younger. I'm not, and neither are the Chinese. So we don't resurrect there in the astral world. And that is for about 1,000 years younger in there. And sadly, many are in hell. But we'll leave that alone. Okay, so we did that. Bible with understanding. I showed you that. This is my notes. I wrote them. I couldn't read my writing after the headstand, but I wanted to go through that. Oh yeah, when I quoted that song by Rush, the lyrics where they say a band called Rush from I think from the 70s. That's minute 12 of a song called Sickness. He says, "I disembodied spirit. I have no shape or form. I'm dead yet I'm born." That's the experience of Om, and I know I lose everybody when I start speaking of formlessness. You know, being freed from the insane asylum that the human race has terraformed this earth into. You are are caged in a bubble of perception, like a mental patient inside of a rubber room. And then your speech is just bouncing off the walls of your rubber room inside your bubble of perception. I went through the color orange, or how it's there as an emanation of ourselves inside of our bubble of perception. Om is what you experience outside of our bubble of perception. And then the five senses are like your straitjacket. The 5, 6 senses are, you're in a state of vexated awareness. You're in vexation. Like Solomon said, a vexation, vanity of vanities, all is vexation of spirit. All is vanity and vexation of spirit. Until Om. And that's what the headstand, 3 hours a day until I go through that in the headstand. I explain that. That's what that teaching, ancient teaching, leads to, and that's why you can find the Buddha on YouTube videos, documentaries of Buddha or Buddhism. You see ancient artwork of him using a tree branch to hang upside down. So he was taught this ancient teaching, and that's what it leads to. Om. You think all you see, all the human experience is still in a vexated state, vexed by the human form. It's inside your bubble of perception, your self-reflecting bubble of perception, and it's inside of space and time. That Om is what's really out there in absolute reality at the highest level, the original level. They say that it's sin to depart from that, and then that was our initial sin, that we broke away from God, we separated from God and became this. And they say it's sin, but I say it's not so bad, God, because it was the will of God to manifest as creation. But at any rate, that is a perspective. But actually, we in our constituent component are Om, and what's out there is Om as one. There is no duality in Om, the Tao, Yahweh, Allah, whatever you want to call it, the voice of many waters. I heard as a voice of thunder saying, the cloud, and out of the cloud said, "This is my son, in whom I am well pleased." The cloud, that's Om, is like a cloud, formlessness and formlessness. Again, it can't really be talked about that well. It has to be experienced, and that's why I said you can only thunderstand this teaching, thunderstanding beyond enlightenment, thunderstanding, THUND, because like I say, in formlessness, and we're using speech, which is the human form, part of the human form, to try to talk about what's formless. It can't be done. It can only be thunderstood. At any rate, nature, mental states, plane versus construction cone. Okay, seeing meditative peace. I showed you that. Here, there, and everywhere. Now we'll touch upon that again. What's ultimately out there after you are released from your bubble of perception via that teaching, and also via the teaching of meditation for angels, arrive at the same place via the headstand for humans. But at any rate, what's out there and what's in there was the thundering cloud of unknowing. And whatever we see in a human experience is because it's been self-reflected by the human form. It's been created by the human form itself. So we think it's out there, but it actually self-reflected out there, emanated, like the processing, like what we see on a computer screen, went through the hardware and software, and it came out as light pixels onto the screen. Okay, that's the nature of reality. Okay, yeah, it's real, yet it's also unreal. Like this book, okay, or this. It's solid. It's also, it becomes light. It's just made of light. If I experience this cone with my body of light, my hand would go right through it, And then, of course, a body of light can move thousands of miles in no time, because it's not subject to the laws of gravity, etc. It's metaphysical properties. Just the thought will move your body of light. So a thought is very real. The ancients learned this. That's why they developed meditation. They learned that if you bring these thought process that we have in a physical body to stillness, that when you do that in the astral body, that's how you arrive at the ethereal body, the kingdom of Buddha. It operates on that level, whereas the astral body world operates mental level. Thought is very real. It moves you there. It manifests the thought. But in the kingdom of Buddha, the mind is brought to stillness, and it does not interrupt the mind of God. So it's not the being ethereal body world is energized internally with its own thought processes. It's the non-local awareness that moves it, like the wind. You hear that whispering wind, and your stairway lights on the whispering wind. But the stairway to heaven, where it ends, Om, all is one and one is all. The constituent component in you is Om, and it's merged. It exists. It's dimensionless dimension, but it makes that thundering sound. Steady, thundering, rumbling sound. That's why they say Om. That monk is not, that's not chanting. That's not Om. That's just the sound of his mouth. Om is sound beyond the ears and sight beyond the eyes. It can only be thunderstood. Thunder. Okay. So here, there, everywhere right now. super consciousness, formlessness. Okay, I showed you the king, and again, we approach this as soldiers off to war, warriors, because it is in a sense dying. He says we die daily or whatever, but it's not suicide. Okay, like St. Jude. Okay, but it's a powerful hit, and one of the warriors' ways in Native American Indians from the Yaqui Way of knowledge is that you don't give in to death, because I could be in heaven right now. Okay, I know that. I think it's arrogant, but it's not. It's an awareness. Or I could be a moksha if I want, but I'm here. We don't give in to it. We just live for the hell of it. That's the vow. Even though you know you could be in heaven, you know you're too good for the world and its inhabitants. You're too good for the human race, too good for the angels in the astral world. You live for the hell of it. That's the vow. So, at any rate, those are that's a particular warrior's way that has to be practiced, because you will not want to stay in this world once you're introduced to heavenly worlds. You won't want to be here. Ask any near-death experiencer. But you do it, and you live for the hell of it. So anyway, that's a vow, a type of vow. We touched upon heavenly wealth. The unicorn's horn is heavenly wealth. Ownership of the Holy Bible is a form of heavenly wealth on earth. You just don't realize what you're holding and working with. And that was just a taste of the divine nature of Christ. The unicorn's horn, just see, that's how I said hi. Bless you with a blessing like it. With his name only triggering out of Om, like the lepers triggering the water when it stirs and being healed by it. Just his name stirred, and that's how it stirs up his name, and he's able to impart a blessing like that. The unicorn's horn is not found in hell. It's not found in hell. So that's your line, but all the rest of the stuff, it's not such, gets in there, gets their foot in the door, and they're going to grow from there, but I'm for the King of Buddha. There's a gulf between those worlds. Call that the Chinese wall in heaven. There's a gulf between the astral world and the ethereal world. That is to say, the kingdom of Christ is in the astral world, and the kingdom of Buddha is in the ethereal world. There's a gulf between those worlds. It's crossed via meditation, also via this ancient teaching. One who practices the headstand 3 hours a day will surely attain enlightenment. Why? So will surely attain thunderstanding. It can only be thunderstood. It's a thundering, rumbling, thundering Om when you open this. The soul exists in a state of one. There's no duality. There's no trinity. At this, absolute. This was before there was heaven and earth. Before God said, "Let there be light." That's what this ancient teaching takes us to. That state of consciousness and experience. Okay, the body world, but it's hard to call it a body because it has no shape or form. So when we say body, we think of physical body or celestial body. No, it's formlessness. It's in one. It's in one. The Om beings, they still know their name. Krishna is said to have went into Om, the soul plane, dimensionless dimension, soul plane, a couple decades ago. So he stayed in heaven for a few thousand years. Physical matter is a physical body, therefore it's a physical world. Yes, it's a physical body, therefore it's a physical world. It's an astral body, their body of light, their angel body, therefore it's a world of light. So a 20,000 ton block, it's a physical body, it's a physical world, physical block of granite, on the Egyptian pyramid is now become a body of light, is a world of light, is a block of light, is what we call a 20,000 ton block of light. Human body, physical body, physical world, it's a physical world, is now become only a piece of light. And it will go, there's more refinement to that until it's own, ultimately. But at any rate, that's the wisdom of the ancients compared to modern man. Thinks he's an object, he's a physical object in a physical world. No, you are a physical body, therefore it's a physical world. And that physical world comes in, processed like the software or the hardware of a computer, puts the images on the screen. That's our physical experience, audiovisual experiences. Went through the processing. Physical has created a physical reality. It's gone through processing. The astral body, body of light, will process everything, and it will be the astral world. Then the astral it will all become light. So the whole earth is a big sphere of light to a body of light. It's not physical like you think. You're not a physical object in a physical world. Duality there is. Ultimately there's no duality, but there still is in the astral world and ethereal world. But the soul dimension is, like I said again, Tao that can be spoken is not the eternal Tao. Okay, so I want to touch on that. Okay, and then touch upon that we resurrect. We go from womanhood, manhood to angelhood. Okay, that was written in the Upanishads by Patanjali thousands of years ago, but that could be verified by near-death experiencers. And anyway, you find the Buddhas, the Rush, soul. The soul, like David said, what is life? A vapor that's here then vanishes. It's so the brevity of life, and that's the experience of Om when you see the cloud or on top of the heads of the Buddhas or other statues in St. Jude, what they might call it a flame of fire, like the flame of fire, pillar of fire, cloud of pillar, cloud during the Exodus following Moses along or leading the way. To me, I experience Om as cloud, the cloud of unknowing. At any rate, you see and realize that was Moses had a very high level working knowledge of Om, and that came from Egypt. Like I said, the serpent, when Christ said he must raise up the serpent, like Moses rose up the serpent, and like I compared the Kundalini going into this state of consciousness to the wings on the and the American Medical Association. It goes like this up the spine, and then at the top you have the wings flying with the Buddha's eagle or